Hello Reds, welcome along to All for United.
Yes, you absolute psychopaths. Welcome back to All for United. This is All for United Uncut. How are you all doing? And this is the first week of All for United Uncut being the big show. It's the Big Daddy show on All for United. Welcome aboard. I don't know how this has made it to become the main show on this channel, but here we go. I've only got 3 people here today. I don't know why, because Slabhead's got his internet shit. Like, his internet's gone. Ha! Calm as a bitch, by the way. James is apparently meeting a mate in Manchester, and I didn't get the invite, so whatever.
Neither did I.
And Mark is going to be here late, so I'm stuck with fucking Stu. I've got Benny who's going to tell me all how fun it was being in the away end, so to piss me off. And I've got Jamie. And I don't mind Jamie. And I've got Lang, so this is going to be absolutely brilliant. I hope you're all doing good, everyone in the comments. How are you doing? How are you doing, Hammer? For the rest of the show, I should change my name on here. I'm just going to call myself Glazer Supporter. I think that's the best way to call myself over the last couple of days. We're not going to talk about. Well, we might talk about that. I don't know. First off, United played a game today. How good was that? No, wait, stop. Sorry, what are you all drinking? Whew, that was close.
I'm on the old water again.
I nearly accepted structure then.
I'm back to the old craft. A nice pale.
Camden Hells.
Camden Hill.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie as well. I feel like shit because I've been on a bender for about a month and then my liver's crying out for a break. So
your taste buds must have gone if you're drinking that shite. I mean, fuck.
It's a poser beer. That's a poser beer.
It's a poser beer.
Last week we had James drinking lemonade, i.e. Foster's. I mean, you're drinking Iron Brew. I mean, it's just as bad. Hell.
Right, okay, now I can answer the football question. How good was it watching United again?
Fantastic. Good to be back inside the stadium as well.
Good. Tell us what it was like.
Well, I think my mate did sort of a rough head count. He said it was about 250 United away fans there. Obviously, it was a limited capacity of about 8,000 altogether. I don't know if it was all 8,000 was... if it was a sellout or anything, because they didn't really announce a capacity, to be fair. Then again, the announcement was shit, so they didn't even announce any substitutes or anything, or an injury time. But anyway,
to be fair, there was quite a bit of substitutions.
Yeah, there was, to be honest with you. But, it was just good to be back, though. The atmosphere was terrific. First half was brilliant. Second half, I think people were like, seeing the mates again, just a bit chatty, sometimes... Anyone that's been in United and the game's not absolutely free-flowing and tip-top and everybody's engaged. Sometimes it takes 10, 15 minutes in the second half to get the atmosphere going again. And that's what happened today. I think everybody was happy to see each other again. A lot of people were shouting across the stands, I haven't seen you in God knows how long, blah, 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 blah. So... Second half, once we got the second goal, that's when the atmosphere started creeping up again. And then when they scored, they started singing. And then United fans were singing back to them, "You only sing when you're losing," And it was good though. You missed that banter there between the fans because where the away fans are, you're sort of like sort of curving into what they call their south stand, and obviously, their south stand split a little bit with away fans and home fans, and the home fans in the south stand, I think, it's more of their vocal section. So obviously, a lot of their chants really did sound a lot similar to our chants, and we're thinking, where we've heard this one before. But listen, we were the ones that started chanting for Wayne Rooney, and they started, joining in. It's amazing how we chant for their manager before they do, but it was a good laugh. It was a good laugh. It was a good game of football to watch, to be fair. Yes, it was a bit slow to start. Pre-season is what pre-season is, really, isn't it? At the end of the day, it does take a little bit of time to start motoring. I think Derby, you could tell they had the extra week's preparation. The extra week's game under their belt. They probably started off a little bit better than we did, a little bit quicker than we did, but. End of the day, mate, it was good to see some of them under 23s playing, because some of them have got really big futures. If not at Manchester United, but in football in general, because there's some really good players on show there.
Yeah, and obviously we're going to address the. Oh, I'm lagging again. And I'm back. We're going to address the thumbnail. Pellistri came on in the second half. Obviously, I think he was. It's safe to say he was one of the brighter spots of that second half. Stu, what impressed you about Pellistri today?
Yeah, look, the good thing about, and Benny's absolutely right, Derby are a week ahead of us for sure. The thing about pre-season is, and Benny will know because he was at the game, you won't actually learn much, if anything, today from any of the players out there. From a player's perspective, it really is trying to get as much football under your belt over the next 2 weeks as you can, because obviously you can't replicate what you do on training as you can do in a live match. And so Benny would be right. I would be amazed, or was amazed, that we were 1-up in the first half. I mean, Chong got quite lucky, really. It was a lovely move. But Chong got quite lucky. The ricochet kind of bounced straight into him, and it went in. But with regards to Pellistri, he'll need a loan again. He'll need an extra 12 months away from the club. I've seen tweets already saying, drum him into the first team squad. He's not quite there yet. I don't know whether you guys saw him at Alaves for the second half of last year, the season. I thought he was okay. I thought he stood up quite well to the physicality of the Spanish league, and he was kicked from pillar to post, really, and he stood up to it quite well. But the Premier League, as we all know, and it will stunt his development because he won't get the chance in the first team. And I think when you look at today overall, 70, Benny, you can correct me here, maybe 80% of the players in that squad will be looking elsewhere with their futures for loans, or possibly even moving away, because that squad that we saw today is nowhere near the squad that we're going to see on August the 14th or 15th, whenever we kick off against Leeds. And that is the biggest issue with pre-season. But I tell you what I did see. I thought Heaton looked okay. And he looked like we've got a proper third goalkeeper. I know, if you take Romero out of the equation, it looks like we've got somebody who can maybe step in if there's an issue with De Gea or an issue with Henderson, or both, actually. I think we've got somebody who can step in.
That's almost as if that's why we signed him, Stu.
Correct. Yeah, but maybe. But I actually do think he can set in. And Betty, again, because it's different watching the game as live than it was on television. And it looked like he was quite quick around his 18-yard box. I'm not talking about his line to 6. I'm talking about the whole 18-yard box. Come out a couple of times, took some from the feet, didn't he, of their players. So I was quite impressed with that. Pellistri, yeah, he did impress me. There's no two ways about it. Disappointed with Garner and disappointed with Levitt, if I'm being honest. I don't think they got to grips with the game at all. Yeah, I don't think they got to grips with it.
We'll get into that later, because I asked you a question about Pellistri, Stu, and you've gone on and talked about Tom Heaton.
Sorry. Move on.
Jamie, we signed Pellistri and we signed Ahmad at the same time, and we both were, very highly rated. Let's leave it at that. And we paid a lot more for Ahmad, granted. But do you see anything that Pellistri might have that's almost, more preferable to Ahmad in any way, or do you think there's no comparison there?
Nah, I mean, I personally don't see what he offers that sort of Ahmad wouldn't. And my thing with what Stu was saying is we send him back out on loan for another year, but then he comes back in and he's 20. It's a weird signing for me. Like, don't get me wrong, somebody must rate him, and he seemed to have quite a bit of a buzz around him. But we are so stacked in those wide areas now. When you think about, not only is it Martial, Rashford, Sancho, James, Greenwood, then there's Alanga, there's Shola. I know Chong's gone on loan, but so we've got so many wingers now, and you just think, is he better than what we've already got? I personally, I don't know. I've not seen as much of him as I'd have liked to. I've seen, I'm just going to hold my hands up here. I didn't actually watch the game today. I've seen the highlights and I've seen bits and bobs of it, but, I don't have MUTV because, unlike you, Karthik, I don't want to put money into the Glazers' pockets. That was satire, by the way, before, I get kicked off. But, yeah, I think sending him out on loan, but then it just... Again, it's just one of those transfers that I think in the future will look like it was a bit of money laundering or something like that. There was no need for us realistically to go out and buy it. Well, you know what I mean? Like when Paulinho signed for Barcelona, when Barcelona went through that period of signing ridiculously weird players, and it was definitely just money laundering. Yeah, I just think it was a bit of a bizarre signing. Again, I'm not even passing a judgment here. I just don't see what he offers us, because realistically, does he get into either the right or left wing position over any? I mean, he looks like he has the intelligence to maybe play as a 10 as well. He seems to have decent ball movement and he seems to have a good passing in. But again, does he get in the 10 over anyone else that we've got? So I think he'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on. He's our player, on the books, isn't he? So it's a win-win situation. We either, we didn't sign him for much, and I definitely prefer Ahmad, because I think that was your original point, Karthik.
Yeah, it was. Benny, what do you think of Pellistri? Like, you were at the ground today. What was the feeling of the fans when they saw him come on and his performance?
To be fair, though, Andrew was there as well. I was sat right just behind Andrew Wall in the comments there. He was sat in front of me. But I had a couple of other mates that I watched the game with. We parked at the same place, and they the first thing we all said was Pellistri was decent. He's probably the best player on the pitch in the second half. He looked confident the way he was getting the ball, running at the full backs. He didn't seem scared. He was taking them on, driving at the penalty area. His goal was a well taken goal. Grounding the goalkeeper and just slotting it in. And we see a very level-headed, sort of experienced pro is missing, or that sort of opportunity, or panicking and letting the goalkeeper take the ball in front of their legs. So it was a really decent play. Everybody was dead impressed, but the people I did speak to after the game were saying, like the boys said, I think he's definitely going to go back out on loan. Give him another season under his belt. Hopefully play week in, week out. I know Alaves again are interested, aren't they? So in taking him. So maybe let him go out there. If it was me, I'd rather keep him in this country. Maybe even to play him in the Championship. Somewhere where you're going to get battered. You're going to get bullied, is the word I'm looking for, just to see how tough he actually is. Because it's all right sending him out abroad, but sometimes when you send them abroad, it's they've got plenty of time on the ball. It's not like the. I'm not saying it's not rough, because professional football at any levels can be quite rough, but
it's not realistic to what you'd experience at United. Yeah,
well, or English football. Do you know what I mean? Where people will be looking to kick lumps of crap into you because you're taking them on. You're trying to skin them. Defenders don't like that in this country. In the English game, they'd rather wipe somebody out than let somebody go around them again. I think it would be, for me, I think he will go back to Alves or go out to Alves, but I'd rather see him stay in this country, even if it's just the Championship level, just so we could get, even if it's for 6 months, just so we get a feeling of what, or get a vision of seeing him in English game and see how he would perform under that sort of pressures. Because let's be fair, people might mock the Championship, but let's be fair, you have to be tough as old boots to play in that league sometimes. It's not exactly a walk in the park. So, but he did really impress today.
Stu, Jamie mentioned that it was a strange signing. He said it was a bizarre signing, and who does he really get into our team for? Now, that's a very valid question, but a lot of the social media, now granted it was very instant reaction based, but since it's out there, we'll discuss it. The idea that maybe in a year or so, sell Dan James, bring him into the squad, Pellistri into the squad. What would you say to that idea?
Yeah, that's got merits and that's got a lot of traction. Actually, Jamie's right. When you look at our the numbers that we've got in attacking players, wide players in particular, or supposedly wide players, we've got way too many. I read somewhere this afternoon that that Ollie was considering Jesse Lingard in his plans as well, as we are today, which adds another kind of forward-thinking, wide-ish kind of player to the mix. I would say, I mean, we spoke about Dan James before. Dan James was one of those where I don't think, after seeing him for 2 or 3 years, he's going to be able to make the grade that would be a Manchester United regular. And I think he's a waste of time as a squad player. And so I would move him out. The thing about Pellistri is, and Ben's right, I'm not really sure going back to Alaves would be the right move for him. I can understand the logic, Spanish speaking, etc., etc. But what Premier League teams tend to do, and this tends to get rather unnoticed, but if you really see a way through, a path to the first team at Manchester United, when you loan a player, you'll loan him to a Premier League side. You won't loan him to a Championship player. Look at Billy Gilmore. He's gone from Chelsea to Norwich. We did it with Henderson. We put him out to Sheffield United. And when we saw how good he was, we kept him there for a further season in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Ben's right. Look, if you want a test of strength, mental strength, physical strength, you play in the Championship. But if you want to know if a player is capable of playing in the Premier League, you loan him to a Premier League team. You can't be afraid of it, but that's what you do. So if we've got any kind of thoughts about bringing Pellistri in, that's the route I would go. But I do think Ben's right. I think I'd go back out to Alaves, and then let's see where we are in when he is 20. But yeah, Jamie makes a really, really relevant point. A very strange signing. We were briefed it was a signing for the future, but you've got to start trimming some deep fat if you want to get him into this squad, let alone the first 11. You've got to start trimming some fat. So
yeah. Do you think, Jamie, do you think part of that trimming the fat to get him in would be Dan James?
See, this is a really unpopular opinion, but I think he should be one of the last people to go. I rate Dan James as a squad player. I think, and not that it was, there was a high bar to set, but he was Wales' best player at the Euros. It wasn't, Gareth Bale that everything went through. It was Dan James. And it's almost as if, when you play him in his preferred position, look what happens. Like, he actually can perform. I think for us, he was used too much of a bit part as a bit part role out on the right, which he didn't flourish in. When he was at Swansea, obviously the game against City springs to mind, and again operated off the left-hand side and just ripped him apart all night. And I think for us, like, he really does offer something, especially if Rashford's going to have shoulder surgery, he's going to be out. If we have Martial and Dan James' rotation for like the left-hand side, I think that is quite effective. Dan James seems to be really good at splitting back fours. He's good to bring on against tired legs, because if you're 75 minutes in, the last thing you want is Dan James running full pelt at you. I know that there's questions around his football intelligence at times. Like, he does seem to just sort of knock the ball into space and run onto it, and there isn't much else in there. But again, put an arm around him, give him a bit of a run in, try and give him some form of momentum in terms of, here's the sort of games you can expect to play in. Obviously, I know we spoke about all these squad rotation at times last season, even in like the cup games and stuff like that, there was still like big name players in there. But for me, like, Dan James is a decent squad player to have, and I know that that's not an opinion shared by a lot of people. But it's like, I was watching him at the Euros, and I was just like, this is a man that this is clearly there's somebody in there. There's a decent footballer in there, and I'd rather see him stay in the squad than say Pellistri.
Anyone want to?
Yeah, the problem with it.
Jump on that. Anyone agree, disagree?
Yeah. It's not about disagreeing or agreeing. Actually, the problem with it is that Cavani is going to be our lead 9. We know all that. And we also know that Greenwood's going to switch with him. He'll alternate with him. We know all this as well. But then when you look at the wide and the width, if we keep Ahmad in, you've got Ahmad, you've got Martial, you've got Rashford. He will play Greenwood out of there. You've got
Sancho.
James. You what? Sorry,
Sancho.
You've got James. You've got Sancho. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about it. You've got Sancho. That's 6 players there. 6 players there, including James. He's not going to get a look in. He just isn't. And so, although I agree with you, Jamie, I do. You've got a wasted salary, and it's a salary that you're better off pushing out somewhere. With all due respect to him, you're better off doing that. And that's the same with the bulk of our squad at the moment. When you look at the minutes on the pitch they're likely to get, you've got to be weighing up the salaries as opposed to the minutes. And does it really pay for these players to still be on our books? And that's for another discussion anyway. That would be my only comeback on that, Jamie. And it's not a disagreement with you, mate. It's just a...
Yeah, no, not at all. I agree with what you're saying there, that, I think we've had an issue over the last 5-6 years. Actually, 8 years of overpaying. We've got a bloated wage structure, and it's only going to get worse when we start bringing in, if we do bring Varane in or stuff like that, it again sets a precedent. So I agree with what you're saying there. It was mainly just in terms of ability. I do think he can do a job, but I see what you mean, and I don't disagree with you there, pal.
I suppose, Benny, I'll ask you this question. I suppose when we're discussing this, the question we should be asking is, can Pellistri be better than what Dan James is now? And is that your opinion?
He can. He's got the ingredients, is the word I'm looking for. He's got the ingredients to be a really good footballer, Pellistri. I just think he needs a loan move in England, though. Like what Stu was saying about Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson spent a year in the Championship with Sheffield United. And I think Pellistri to spend 6 months to a year in the Championship and then on loan in a Premier League club, should he need to, I think would do a world of good. As for Dan James, it's difficult for me because if Rashford does have the shoulder surgery, he's out for a good couple of months. So he's out till, if he has it, for example, when he comes back, I think he's out till late October, early November. So we're going to need Dan James in that respect, I think. I do think there is a place for him. I do think there's still going to be a place for Dan James. You think about, we're going to be in the Champions League, we'll fight for the Premier League, Champions League, League Cup, FA Cup. Quadruple as well, why not? We're Man United, we're big enough. I think we need to be using our squad a lot more this season and being smart about it. I think Dan James is always a place for him. And I agree with Jamie. I think in the Euros, he gave a good solid account of himself. He's just now seeing that Dan James transfer the form that he had in the Euros for Wales to a Manchester United shirt and building upon that and learning upon that. Because everyone might say, he's a bit of a greyhound, if you will, where he just runs. That's all he does. That's all he's got to his game. But I think Dan James has got a lot more to his game. It's just he's got to show it and not be scared to show it at Manchester United. I certainly think for the first 6 months, for the first half of the season, I guarantee Dan James will be around. If he has to go on loan from January time, then if he's not being used as much, then fair play, But I do think for at least the first half of the season, Dan James will still be around. And hopefully, Pellistri, by the looks of it, might go back to Alves. And hopefully the kid does very, very well out there, keeps on playing his game and improving his game. And it should be an interesting battle because, let's be fair, we've got people always seem to forget Ahmed as well in this. And I think he's streets ahead of Pellistri in a way, because I think Ollie sees that as well. As something in Ahmed, it's just something about him. Let's hope he has a good Olympic Games. He's out there with Eric Bailly with Ivory Coast. So let's hope he has a good Olympic Games and he comes back. And he's it'll be interesting to see what happens to him as well with Jayden coming in. So we've got options, Ollie. But as you said, but I agree with Stuart on the same point, though. Where we're trimming the squad, if we need to trim the squad, because not everybody's going to play, not everybody's going to be happy, but I suppose time will tell.
Yeah, definitely. Also, Stu, what were you chuckling away at?
Oh, Jamie and his hiney. He had a sip of hiney. You should see his face. It was hilarious.
So, I left this beer outside last night, right, because I was having a few drinks outside with my mate before we went out, and I forgot to bring it in this morning, and obviously it's been sat in the sun all day, so I threw it in the fridge for an hour. And I've just had a swig of it, opened it, had a swig of it then, and it was absolutely rotten. But
I mean, that's Heineken's rotten anyway, isn't it? Let's be honest. But that's what I was giggling at. Sorry.
No, don't zoom on it there. It's just all leftovers from the Euros. It's all we drank through the Euros because obviously they got us, the cheeky little bastards, with the marketing tactic of sticking every team in the Euros.
Oh yeah,
Pokemon cards. Like I was searching for a North Macedonia one for about 3 weeks. And then obviously, I've got a pack that had 3 of them in it. So I was just like, right, And then obviously we went out anyway, and we lost the final, and now I've just got a load of Heineken bottles around the house. So
wonderful. Right, so we've talked about Pellistri. We'll go into some of the other performers today. I'm lagging again. Okay, I'm back. With the midfield situation, with reports that we want to play a holding mid. There was questions. Oh, potentially we could play a double pivot with one actual defensive player in that pivot, because that's not what we have at the minute. I know Stu's going to disagree with me right now, but I thought Garner and Levitt had a decent game. Now we'll talk about that and talk about midfield options, because we also saw Pereira, we saw Nemanja Matic as well. But first on Levitt and Garner, what were your opinions? And Stu, we'll go to you first.
Look, when you play in central midfield, you have to control the game. And the biggest problem for me is, and Benny, I wasn't there, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that Derby started with 3 or 4, maybe even 5 trialists today. They certainly had 5 trialists in their squad. Now, if you've got aspirations of playing football at any level, but if you've got real aspirations of turning out in the first team for Manchester United, you've got to step it up. Now, Garner in particular had a worldie of a second half of the season at Nottingham Forest. I know this. We've all seen him play. We've all spoken about his abilities, his technical abilities. Plays very, very similar to Carrick. I hadn't seen too much of Levitt in the past. I know Benny has. So Benny's a bit of an oracle on Levitt, because we've spoken about him before.
I love Levitt.
But you have got to... You've got to control that game. You know my feelings on a CDM. He's the one that's got to be pulling the strings, getting everyone into positions, starting the attacks, etc. And I just didn't feel today that Garner and Levitt, and it may be the first time they played together for a while, I'm guessing, probably about 18 months, and they were just off the pace. Again, I haven't got a problem with them being off the pace, but I didn't think their passing was particularly strong. I didn't think their work rate was as good as it should be. And I didn't think their vision was as good as it could be. And those are my points that I didn't feel they turned up for. I'm not saying they're bad players. Don't misread what I'm saying, because I know they're very good players individually. But to me, they just didn't have the game that I felt they needed. Garner, I think, will go. You can't put Garner into our first team. And I think, Benny, you would agree with me. You were there, and you can't put Levitt into our first team. But again, it comes back down into the Pellistri thing. What do you do with them? I would put Garner in the Premier League somewhere like Brighton. I'd send you to Brighton. I'd probably send Levitt, if I could, down to Southampton. And I'd see how they developed for 6 months. I'd do a 6 months loan for both of them and see how they developed under good coaches. Potter's an excellent coach. He's a footballing coach. He'd suit Garner's game. And Hasenhüttl, I know he had his problems last year, but he's a very, very good coach. He's highly thought of in world football, not just... And I think he'd be great for Levitt. Somebody needs to get hold of these 2 kids, take them out of the Manchester United environment, but keep them in the Premier League environment. And if I was Ollie, that's what I would do with them. But that's my thoughts on those today.
I actually agree with you, Stu, because I think what we did right with Garner was we sent him to the Championship. We gave him Watford. They were okay. Then they changed manager and he wasn't great because he wasn't fancied in the team. Nottingham Forest, he had a great second half of the season. With Levitt, we sent him off to Croatia or something, didn't we? And I'm like... Yeah,
it didn't work out. Charlton did it for him, so...
And I'm like, that's a random move that. I didn't think that was the right one. Benny, what did you make of Levitt?
Levitt and Garner came as a pair, in the under-23s and all through up the age groups. They came in the academy sides, they're very, very good playing together usually. But as I said, 18 months or so, they've not played together rightly. Levitt's one of them that I think he needs a top-level championship side to go to, and somebody that gives him the confidence to play some football. I wouldn't be opposed to him going to Derby County. I know they're going to struggle next season, and I know they can't. If United can say, listen, we'll pay for his wages and that, don't worry about it, because I know Derby are in dire straits at the minute. They can't even play the players at the minute. But
Rooney's got the impossible job there.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll just go and send him to Rooney. I think he did Bengi a world of good last season. Just send Levitt there. Don't send him abroad. Not yet, anyway. Just send Levitt there. Even if it's just for 6 months, just say, Levitt, listen, Rooney's going to give you a chance. You go out and impress there, play your football and develop, because I don't want to see him in the 23s. Garner and Levitt are too good for the 23s now. They need football. Yeah. And as for Garner, I agree, Premier League football. A Brighton, a Southampton, even a West Ham, somewhere around there where that he's going to be playing with decent level of players, where he can get on the ball and he could do his stuff. You imagine if Garner was playing alongside Bruno today, or playing alongside Paul Pogba, Garner would look really, really good with them. I think Garner needs people around him, that are better levels than what he had today. I'm not saying Levitt's not a decent level, but I think Garner's a level above, a couple levels above Levitt at the minute. And I just feel like, I hope that we see Garner given an opportunity when the big boys do come back in, especially later on in the pre-season. I'd give him a half with Bruno and Pogba. Just give him a half with Bruno and Pogba. Give him 45 with those two, and just see how he develops with those two players around him. I just feel like there's a player in there, but I agree with Stu, though, a decent Premier League loan this season for Garner, because the guy's quality player. And as Andrew Wall said there, I think they did okay under pressure, but they just need to. We need to see him go to the next level now,
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, Benny,
they've both got it in them.
I was about to say, Benny, and I 100% agree with you, because this is the biggest issue with pre-season, I'm afraid, is that you're playing with the players you've got that have been training for a couple of weeks. You're not playing with the players that you would, aspire to play with, and that's always a problem. So Benny's right. It'd be really interesting to see Garner in particular. Levitt does need to go somewhere. But Garner in particular, it'd be great to see how he handles himself alongside Bruno, Donny van der Beek. I mean, we know Donny's injured, so, he's just bringing his way back. But somebody of that ilk of player of talent, a Pogba, we'd really see what Garner's made of. So, but I think he'll need a Premier League loan. There's no point sending him to Forest.
Yeah.
Or someone like that.
No, he's got his time in the Championship now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so.
Jamie, do you think we've sorted sort of Garner's situation? We know what he's about. We know what that is. With Levitt, there's quality there because he's gone to the Euros. Let's not getting twisted. There's quality there. You don't get called up to the Euros if you're just a bit player. So do you think that we need to get this right? Otherwise, we might be losing a great player here.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the same with both of them, realistically. I think if they both had a bit more, sort of Spanishy sounding names, like, if he was like Javier Garnero, like people would be screaming for him. But no, I think they're both quality players. I think, again, the problem is at the minute is as much as I do like Ollie as a man manager, and that the club seems to be getting things right at the minute, we probably haven't been the best environment to be a youth player in over the last, 2-3 years. Because there's been sort of a lack of consistency, both in terms of sort of the style in which we play and the treatment of the kids. I mean, I suppose 2-3 years is probably a bit of a stretch, and we're talking about 6 years here. My concept of time has gone out the window recently. So I think with Levitt, there's clearly talent there. And again, I think that it's about getting the loan move. So sending him out abroad is the worst thing you can do, because not only are you then, getting him settled in with a new club, you're also just in a different culture, you might not speak the language. So get him somewhere that he'd be comfortable with. Again, I think somewhere like Southampton would be really good. I really wanted Norwich to take James Garner, but then they ended up with Billy Gilmore. And I thought that would have been a brilliant move for Garner. I think Levitt either, send him to sort of established sort of bottom half Premier League side, because the last thing you want is to send a player on loan to a club that's going to be scrapping relegation and have that pressure on them. Send them to a promotion candidate side, or even someone like Brentford. Brentford play attractive football.
Brentford's a shout though, because the way they play football. Yeah,
it's progressive football, it's expansive football, and it's one of those that they're a newly promoted side for the first time in their history. So even if they did go back down, that pressure is not on you as a person. So I think we definitely need to get things like this right. Same with Pellistri. Get the loan moves right, because, like you say, it'll be one of those things in it that in 3-4 years' time it'll come back to bite. And we know what it's like. Is that we'd sell James Garner and Dylan Levitt, and they both have a worldie of a season, and we'd be it'd be linked all over the back page of the BBC, like, oh, we're linked with a £456 million move for ex-player James Garner. Like, do you know what I mean? We get slapped with stuff all the time. So, yeah, it's important. But I trust Ollie to understand the development of the lads. And to be fair, just send out the reserves to Derby. Just give Rooney the entire reserve side and go, there you go. Send, Hannibal, let him tear the championship up.
To be honest, that's what I hope we do. I hope we get, like the people, like you lot have said, Garner, I think, definitely needs a Premier League move. I think maybe Newcastle could do with that kind of. Oh, I'm back again. Yeah, you heard me say Newcastle, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying Willock as well. Like, Willock smashed it in that side. Like, the guy should have English call up.
It's true.
But it's just, do you want Steve Bruce managing one of your prospects? That's the only problem, isn't it?
Oh, bloody hell. And Levitt, I think anyone in the Championship, I'd quite like to see him at Derby or Preston. Fuck it, send him to Preston, see what they can do. Another player who I think needs to go on loan, and he looked quite sharp today, Brandon Williams. What do you make of him?
I think he's missed his window with us, Brandon. He got into the first team 2 years ago, didn't he? 2 seasons ago. I think he's missed his window. He's. Do
you think?
He's a weird one, though, isn't he? Because he's a left back.
He's had a taste for it now, though. He's had a taste for it now, though. First team football. He's gonna want it. So if we can't give it to him, we might end up selling him.
Well, that's what I mean. He's had his window now, so it's time for him to go. I just don't see the point in keeping him around.
I think he's quality.
He's a good player.
We've got to remember, Tellez isn't exactly the youngest.
No,
so he might get a window.
But he's a right back though. Surely he has to be a right back. Like, you can't play. It's like when Southgate started playing Trippier at left back during the Euros. Like, the last thing you want is for your marauding fullback on the left hand side to make a brilliant run and then have to cut in on his right hand foot to put a cross in. Like, because it's so easy to defend against.
The only reason he's not being played. The only reason he's not playing a right back is Ethan Laird exists.
Well, yeah, obviously.
That's the only reason.
He's filling a squad hole, and we don't need a squad filler at the minute. This is the problem. This is the problem with our squad. Look at our squad as a whole. We don't need squad fillers, and we've got Brandon Williams, I'm afraid, is a squad filler.
You're probably right. I'm probably just a bit too soft.
No, Jamie, you're spot on about his play. Mate, you know your football, and this is why I like talking to you guys. You all know your football. You know, you listen to other. I've said it before, Karthik. I'm going to say it again. You listen to other fucking morons on other channels. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You guys do, which is why I respect all your opinions. I just look at it from a different viewpoint. That's the beauty of what we talk about. As a player, he's excellent. He's everything I like in a fullback.
Oh yeah, bloody hell.
He's tenacious. He's hard. You know, he doesn't give a fuck. He's everything I like in a fullback, but there are times in a player's life where he misses a window. And I'm just going to cite one player, Cameron Borthwick-Jackson. He came in at left back.
I thought he was fucking Beckham reborn.
We all did.
Yeah.
We all did.
We did.
He had a wand of a ping on him. Jesus Christ.
Cameron Beckham Jackson, I called him.
Probably not the right player to compare him with, but I was just using an example, really, of a player.
Paddy McNair as well.
Paddy McNair, yeah. I think there's been a bit of a history of players we felt
Tyler Blackett
could really. Tyler Blackett's another one, and they didn't make.
He was shit. Don't include Tyler Blackett in that.
So for me,
Sadiq Al-Fattori.
Oh fucking hell! Yeah.
Sorry, I'll stop interrupting us, Stu.
I just think he's missed his window with us. That's all. Now, whether we loan him or sell him, I don't know. But if I was him and I was his agents, I would be looking to move on.
But yeah, it'll be interesting if Trippier comes in. That'll show everything. If United still really, really want Trippier in, the thing people are saying a right-footed left back. Well, Dennis Owen's a right-footed left back. You know, if you're good, you know, I like the kid Brandon Williams. I do. I agree with Stu. He's everything that you want in a full-back, and he's a local lad. You know, people might say, "Oh, you got to stop being so soft towards local lads," you know, and all this lot, but. I just want the guy to do well. I just want the guy to have a decent footballing career, and I'm sure he will. Whether it's with United or not, I don't know. Stu's maybe got a point. Has he missed his window? Because we've got Ethan Laird as well. Let's not forget. And if Ethan Laird can stop getting injured every 5 minutes, Ethan Laird is a far better fullback.
He is.
Far better. had he been fit, then Brandon Williams would never have got the opportunity because Ethan Laird would have got that opportunity.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
he's got competition, Brandon, but he's a fighter. He's a fighter. I don't know if a loan move is possible for him this season, or whether Solskjaer sees him as a squad player again. But I don't want to see someone like Brandon Williams' growth in the game stunted by a few minutes here and a few minutes there, a League Cup appearance here, League Cup appearance there. I want him to get first-team football. And if he's another one that we can maybe, especially if you're bringing a Trippier in, is another one we can maybe look to bring out on loan for a season and then see how it develops on that loan move. However, I think it needs to be a Premier League loan move. But I know Steve Bruce at Newcastle.
It'd be great at Newcastle.
Williams.
I'd take it. If I was Brucey, I'd have it up at Newcastle any day of the week. He'd be great for Newcastle. And the thing about him is, if he sits on the bench, well, he won't even sit on the bench, will he? If he's only, say, playing under 23 football, he'll never develop.
No, so you can't. He's too good for the 23. Just like Gary Levitt, it's too good for 23 football.
Yeah. So Newcastle would be a great fit. It's a great shout.
Yeah.
Great shout.
I think you're right though. I think he has missed the window, and even though I do love him, I don't see how he gets in. The only argument I can see is as Ugly Bear's comment, which is Tellers won't want to play second fiddle forever, so he might leave, and that's when Brandon gets his chance. But again, that's a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes. It's no real substance. And another player that fits that exact description, a player that I absolutely adore, and I get fucking made fun of by Ben for this. Not this Ben Pierce. Axel Tuanzebe. And again, it's one of those where I think I absolutely love the guy, but I think I've missed the window on him as well.
Yeah, it could be another one where it's just because the case of it's injuries that I think the talent's there. I think the season that he managed to stay fit at Villa, there's a reason why the fans absolutely adored him. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was so crucial to them, and he was such a good centre half. He was everything that we knew he was going to be, and he also came with a very catchy chant, which we know is the hallmark of every great player. You've got to have a banging chant to go along with you. And again, I'm with you on this one, Carfit. Like, I absolutely adore him. Like, I think he's a Rolls Royce of a defender in there somewhere. But Phil Jones was the same. Phil Jones was a Rolls Royce of a defender, and we spent 10 years. Like, the man qualifies for a testimonial, and he's played less games for United than I have. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so well, he's probably played a couple more. But so same with Twanze. Like, as much as if he can come back, I think this might be last chance saloon. Like, I don't know what the crack is, but this season could be absolute last chance saloon. If he can somehow keep himself fit, then perfect. But the last thing we need is Eric Bailly's injury prone. Like, obviously Twanzebe's injury prone. Phil Jones is injury prone. If we do bring in Varane, and we obviously end up with a starting back four of Shaw, wan-bissaka, Maguire, and Varane, and we're looking for rotation players, then I wouldn't mind it being Twanzebe and Bailly, or Twanzebe and Lindelof or whatever. But he really does need to hopefully find some fitness, find some form, and like that game against PSG, when the guy just had Mbappe on strings, like, that was the defender that we all know he is. So fingers crossed, because I would love nothing more than to see him smash it.
Stu, if he doesn't find that form and he doesn't bring out that player that we know he has within him, was he playing alongside the player that takes his squad place?
Do you know something? I'm with you guys. I love Tuanzebe. I think he's great. And if I was him, and this is purely personally, I would reinvent myself as a right back.
We had that discussion, didn't we, earlier in the season?
Yeah. Sometimes a footballer, you've got to assess everything around you. And this is where good management, I'm not talking about Ollie, but good player management, i.e. his own brain and his agent, comes into play. Because if I was him, I'd be looking at him. He's played right back a couple of times already. And if I was him, I'd be looking around and assessing, where are my strengths? Am I better at centre-half, or am I better at a right back? And I think he's a better right back, or could be a better right back than he is a centre-half, because he appears to be made of glass. And you don't need to be particularly strong to be a right back. You've got to be quick. You've got to understand the game, and you've got to be knowledgeable about the game. And all you've got to do basically is show your winger down the fucking line. Very rarely will you get caught by a crossball. Very rarely do right backs go up for one-on-one headers because goalkeepers they tend to go down the middle. Very rarely do you get a left back chip out, trying to chip the right back, or vice versa in football these days. So he's really got to do his positional sense. And Tuanzebe is a master at his positional sense. He's brilliant, absolutely brilliant for positional. And if I was him, that's what I would be doing. If I was on coaching staff, I'd be looking at it and say, how can we utilise Axel better than what we're doing? Because they're not utilising him right at the moment. And Jamie's right. If we bring in Varane, then there is going to be an overload at centre half, which we need. Don't get me wrong, because we've been pretty poor there at recent years. But Tuanzebe is going to be the one that's going to miss out. So coming back to your question, has he missed a window? Yes. Unless
to my other one, was he playing alongside the guy that's going to take his spot?
Priya, probably.
Yeah. Are we all of that opinion? Mengi takes Axel's spot if he doesn't bring it up.
Potentially, yeah. Like I do rate Mengi, but again, it's one of those things that was he that impressive last season? I still think that Tuanzebe's probably got the edge on him. I know he's obviously older, but he's got the
What's
edge
the
on him.
age difference?
It's 4 years, isn't it? Mengi's 19.
4 years, yeah.
Yeah, Tuanzebe's 23.
To be fair, Axel at the age Mengi's at now wasn't as good.
No,
I
agree with that.
But I haven't seen enough of Mengi, if I'm being honest. I don't think any of us have really, have we? Seen enough of him?
I've just seen him for the 23s mostly. I mean, I didn't really get to see him at Derby, unfortunately, because I couldn't really follow Derby, obviously, But the thing with Tuanzebe, you said about right backs, a shout though, Stu, but think of Wes Brown. That's what immediately popped into my head. Wes Brown was a centre half, went to right back. Do you remember in the double winning season?
Yeah.
He was fantastic at right back, So it's a bit of a shout there for Tuanzebe. I love Axel. He's everything that you want in a defender. For me, he's big, he's strong, he's got the legs, he's got pace. He reads the game so well. It's just his fitness. If he can just keep fit again. I don't know what it is with United and players that at the back that seem to always pick up these niggly injuries throughout the season that keeps them out for a good length of time. Having said that, though, we always every game United side are always stacked in the centre, options at centre half. Phil Jones, unfortunately, I think he's a goner at some point. Whether we just terminate his contract or somebody.
Phil Jones in the 6.
Phil Jones in the 6. But
I will not rest until I see it again.
But I like Phil Jones, but unfortunately, it's just not happened for the lad, But
everyone, hashtag Phil Jones in the 6. Do it.
But I do think because Lindelof's one of them that he picks up injuries, and then at times he looks shaky. He doesn't look the most confident of centre halves at times. I think there's still a spot for him there, just. I think this is the last season now, but I think. I know that. Oh my God! I've just seen that.
Oh, no,
I know that people were talking about missing the window. Maybe he missed the window, but
I'm trying to save the club money.
Yeah,
we don't
Phil
need to sign at number 6. We've got Phil Jones. Phil Jones in the 6. That's what you take away from this show today. Hang on a minute. There's a comment here that I need to display. Wait, hang on. Let's put this away. Let's bring this over here. Phil Jones and Joe Glazer's love chat. I thought that was me.
Right.
That comment above it about Will Fish. Will Fish looked decent today as well.
He did. He did.
But again, and I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic here because we are awful as a fan base for doing this.
Yeah,
so one of our youth players having a good game and that's it, man. They're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Again, Cameron Borthwick Jackson once put in one decent cross and that was it. We're in our heads. We had somebody pinging in free kicks for the next 15 years like David Beckham.
Do you?
It's me with Timothy Fosu-Mensah.
Do you remember the World Cup a few years ago? The Daily Blint pass to the flying Van Persie.
Yeah.
The whole fan base went nuts about it just on that one.
Yeah.
I knew Van Gaal as well because he was coming in.
It was Memphis. It was Daley Blind, and obviously Van Persie, and then everything just went to shit.
Absolutely.
We lived in purgatory.
Yeah, didn't we just?
Memphis Depay.
Mm.
He's not even at Barcelona. They haven't even signed him yet.
You can't register. You can't register players.
Can't register, can they?
Oh.
Oh dear. Speaking of not registering, when are we fucking signing Sancho then?
No, it'll be another year, mate.
I love it. I love how we agree the fee. We've done the medical, and now we're just spending another year to announce him.
I thought that was
They're
quite
doing it deliberately, aren't they?
Yeah, I thought that was quite funny, really, because he had his medical. Then he
You want on holiday?
He's gone off on holiday. Bless him. He'll get done in 2 weeks when he's back. He'll be fine.
No, they've already filmed it.
Yeah, they probably have. Yeah, they've probably done it, and he's gone off on holiday.
I know why they've done it. They've done it so they can do that little shitty thing where they show all the tweets going announce Sancho, announce Sancho, announce Sancho, and they go announced. Fucking original. Well done, lads.
What I want to know is why Rashford went on the holiday and not to the fucking operating theatre.
To be fair, though, if you read Solskjaer's comments of the game, they're still not decided whether he's having this operation yet or not.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, that's just stupid, isn't it? You know.
Nah, the pressing question is, and this is the most important question in all seriousness, is what instrument do you think they're going to use to announce Sancho? Like, does he play the trumpet, the saxophone, the xylophone?
I told you all, Jadon Sancho, the video is going to be Sancho walking out the tunnel with Fred on his shoulders, and Fred's going to be singing Take Me Home United Road, and then that's it.
Yeah, it's great. Did you see all that?
They'll do something with Dave.
Have you seen all the tweets? You are, sorry.
So is it? He said Fred on his shoulders, but which Fred? Fred the Red or Fred?
Fred, the good one, the fucking mint one.
The mint Fred, right?
Absolutely balling for Brazil, by the way.
Did you not thought it was quite funny? You're watching Twitter and they're all saying, "I can't take it," announce Sancho, or I'm going to fucking put my head in. I mean, for fuck. So what is our fan base? Sometimes it fucking.
Hang on. I have a reaction for this. Hang on.
Oh.
What? I'm just saying, I just can't.
It's a regular now. I might as well keep it here.
Yeah, I just can't. Our fucking fan base, you know. Sometimes, I mean, fuck, he gets announced when he gets announced, doesn't he? The end, you know, as far as I'm concerned. So,
unless we're waiting until we, till we sign Varane, till we sign Trippier, till we sign Sal Niguez, then we all just do a 4-player announcement and go, fucking wank to this, lads.
Why not? Why not? There's nothing wrong in that at all, is there?
And the hashtag won't be JS7 or whatever. It'll just be Dicks out for United.
You can't give him the 7, though, can you, Sancho? You gotta keep Cavani in that.
What number does he get then?
I don't know. Give him fucking 17. All I care. I don't care.
Yeah.
No, hey, that's Fred's
7.1.
Fred, isn't it?
Yeah, is it? Or I'll give him 18. I don't
Fred,
know.
man.
Yeah.
Get on the transfer market.
18. That's fucking Bruno's number, Stu.
You've got to.
Bruno's ready for number 8, isn't he?
You've got to. No, you can't have number fucking 8.
He's waiting. Matty, that shirt.
That's the greatest number on the planet. That is number 8. Dear me. No, what I was saying is, and I'm serious about Sancho, really. We've seen certain players like Memphis Depay come in and get the number 7 shirt. Fucking Michael Owen have the number 7 shirt. It's supposed to be sacred. Look, if you want number 7, come in and fucking earn it. That is our shirt. It could come in and earn it. The thing about Eddie Cavani is...
You give it to him.
Well, he was
fuck off.
Yeah. Anyone in
It'll work though. The thing about Eddie Cavani is you give it to him.
I'm gonna use my phrase now.
Fucking, I'd let him give it to me.
Anything about football knew that Cavani was going to score goals for us. It was an obvious sign.
You know what? I know what this is going to lead to. Go on.
No, I'm not going to. No,
say it. Say it.
Greenwood is not a fucking number 9.
There we go.
No. Right. But what I'm saying is that whoever gets 7, you've got to. I just think you've got to earn it. Yeah.
You know who's earned his place in a position? Phil Jones in the fucking 6.
We all love Phil Jones.
Right, just hear me out. Right, we're going to spend the next 2 minutes discussing this. What if Phil Jones played in the 6?
But he wouldn't, because he'd still be in hospital.
No, like, what if when he's fit, we played him in the 6?
But there's the killer. That phrase that when he's fit, it's if he's fit. He's fit for like 1 game every 2 years.
Phil Jones could be a good number 6, though, couldn't he? That's the response from
No, let's be fair. I like Phil Jones. I do like Phil Jones.
That was brilliant.
But Jamie's right, though. He'll play one match and then miss the next fucking season, you know. He'll go to some clumsy challenge, injure himself, and then that's it.
Right, okay.
To be fair, he's got the build. And I think his brain, he's got it, but his body just won't let him have it, you know. He'll just go charge into some challenge, wipe somebody out, and then he's injured himself and he's out for the rest of the season again.
I saw a clip, right, of Phil Jones playing right back against someone, and he turned into this Rolls Royce fucking inverted fullback, and he was playing 1-2s and dribbling through midfield, and I was like, he could be a 6.
But it's just
he's got a shirt behind him as well.
That's the problem, isn't
it? Phil Jones as a 6.
I can't believe I'm allowed to discuss this. Go on.
It's an interesting concept, and I remember a few months
your structure,
ago.
Ben.
Yeah, I remember a few months ago when Jeff floated the idea of putting Lindelof in as a 6, and I kind of said, yeah, respect your opinion, Jeff, but no chance. So respect your opinion, Karthik, but no chance.
It's the same as in, like, I could be a marathon runner, but I'm not built for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't do anything to train for a marathon. Like, you know, I could be a good marathon runner, though, if I was a marathon runner. It's the same thing. Like, Phil Jones would be a good 6 if he could play as a 6. Bro, at this point, I just like him to play football. I don't care where it is. Put him in a fucking goalkeeper top for all I care. I would just like us to make some, you know, returns on the man that we're paying about 120 grand a week to.
Is that how much we're paying him? Fucking hell.
Yeah, we are.
Like, get him being a ball boy. Like, literally, get him sat with the under-18s being a ball boy. Like, simple as that.
Do you know what I do with Phil Jones? And this is no joke, no word of a lie, and I'm not taking.
Is this going to be a bit? Is this going to be sexual?
No, whether you like Phil Jones or not, he's got a wealth of knowledge of football, and I would palm him off to the fucking women's team.
You'd do what to him?
Palm him off to the women's team. Get him coaching over there. Yeah, I'll get him coaching over there. Seriously.
I was going to say,
he knows
what are you pimping him out for?
He knows about football. Get over there. I really would.
Hang on a minute. Is Stu suggesting that we make Phil Jones the new manager of the women's team?
No. Go and coach him. Go and give him an elite session, because the lad's been around for a long time. You don't stay. You don't stay at Manchester United.
To be fair, Stu's got a point now. While he's been sat out injured, if I was Phil Jones, I'd do my coaching badges. Why not?
Do we reckon he has the actual capability to achieve his coaching badges though? Like, we've seen interviews of Phil Jones and stuff, haven't we? Like the interview with him and Chris Smalling.
If fucking Phil Jones makes it into professional coaching before me, I'm going to be disappointed.
Well, you're looking for an assistant over at Poynton, aren't you, Calf? Like,
well, look,
drop Phil Jones a DM.
Matic is going through his. He's just done his A, hasn't he, or his B?
B.
Yeah, he's just done his B. So he's going through his. Look, Phil Jones's career as a player for our club's over. And we're still paying him. While he's under contract, you've got to utilise. And this is the problem with modern day football. And it's a problem with our club. And it's really been highlighted, actually, by the women's team. The lack of investment in there and the lack of also, people taking it seriously. And somebody like Phil Jones, he has knowledge. Whether we take the piss out of him or not, whether we like him or not, he has knowledge. And we should utilise that knowledge within the...
In the 6!
You can answer that one, Benny.
You may as well just become a player coach. No. Phil Jones should go and play for Liverpool. That's why you still be getting paid a disability allowance, just like there for Odie. Right? Okay, no, I'm not doing that. Brown Knight says Phil Jones is a hereditary mistake. He wasn't even registered last season. Ollie's just going to let him run out his contract, probably. All of Jones's coaching sessions.
That was still one of the best pieces of defending I've ever seen.
I don't mind that.
That was an incredible piece of defending.
You can stick your John Terry up your fucking ass.
Yeah,
I like the Phil Jones gurn.
Who's worse in an interview? Jones agreed. Hey, Hammer! Don't say a bad word against Jack Grealish. Don't do it.
He's off to City, isn't he?
Shut up, Stu. Carthy screenshot this for when Phil Jones pulls the John Stones this season. Hey, John Stones. I mean, that rhymes, first of all. It's quite funny.
Hopefully, by Phil Jones pulling a John Stones, I mean he's going to go to City for £47 million.
I'll go into the fucking next Euros.
Yeah.
I can't believe I've just been allowed to talk about Phil Jones for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to end the stream. Thank you for joining us on All For United Uncut. It's been. Can
we not talk about your shirt just before we go?
Oh, what the fuck? Go on then. Call me a fucking Glazer lover, Stu.
No, actually, I just want to make a point. On Twitter, I saw a bunch of morons attack a 7-year-old kid because he'd gone and bought a United shirt. Or his dad had taken him.
Really?
Yeah, they were giving him a load of shit, and they were saying, "Oh, why didn't you get the counterfeit version?" Yeah, whatever it is. And do you know what really grinds my gears? Half of these things. Half of these fucking bellends that are talking about this and abusing, by the way, a 7-year-old kid as well as everybody else. They're still going to Old Trafford week in and week out to watch the fucking team. And it's got even worse because some fan cam channels are now turning around and having a pop at people for buying shirts. The hypocrisy of that when they're making money off the fucking club themselves. The fucking hypocrisy. It just fucking does my head in.
Fred Woodward, well done.
I bought my son a new shirt from Old Trafford. He won't accept it from anywhere else but Old Trafford.
So I used to take my lads all the time when he was young. He won't buy it from anywhere else apart from Old Trafford. It's the majesty of it, isn't it? It's going to the shop, buying your shirt and having the player you want on the back. So do you know what? To the fucking fans of our great club, fuck you. I will spend my money on what I want to spend my money on. And like Benny, my fucking season ticket arrived over the weekend. And I'm fucking looking forward to going. So I'm sick of it. I'm sick of our fan base having a go at people. They had a pop at you, Karthik, because I was reading the segments. It's just bullshit. It's just bollocks. If you don't want to buy the shirt, don't buy it. Don't buy it, but don't have a go at genuine fans who want to buy shirts. It's got nothing to do with the Glazer out. Nothing.
It's also a very interesting one because obviously the Glazers get their money from the shirt sponsorship deals anyway, and from the manufacturing deals that they get paid a massive boost from at the start of the season. Karthik going and buying the new shirt, they don't, Joel Glazer doesn't get the fucking check for it and goes, cheers Karthik, nice one, that's just paid for your wife's next boob job. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things, and it's, as much as, we're all fucking Glazer out, it's all, not a penny more and stuff like that. At the same time, if you're buying a shirt for your kid or you're buying a shirt for yourself, like, Jesus Christ, man, fucking lighten up. Like,
I got the same thing when I renewed my membership. They're like, you funded the Glazers. I was like, okay, whatever. If I want to go watch a game, I'll go watch a fucking game. Like,
I won't pay for MUTV though.
Oh yeah, right. That fucking annoyed me.
And also because they've got the worst fucking commentators I've ever seen in my life. Like, you compare the Martin Tyler commentary for when Anthony Martial scored his debut goal against Liverpool versus the MUTV commentators. Bro, like, I've had more passionate wanks. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
by the way,
so embarrassing.
MUTV can get to fuck because they took money out of me without me realizing, and I was like, shit, I forgot to cancel it. So then I cancelled it for next year. But they still took money off me. I cancelled it, so I wouldn't have to renew the next year. And then I couldn't watch it on MUTV today. So I've paid for something that I can't then use.
Oh no!
So you get for supporting the Glazers, Karthik.
Yeah, I don't have I don't have MUFC. Anyway.
Joey Barton's back.
MUTV. Oh, fucking hell. Jamie, when will you actually be able to join your mustache up? By the way.
Oh, it's
because it doesn't do it, does it?
Yeah, it gets closed, and then I shave everything off because I get bored of it. So then I have to start all over again. But this grows at about 6 week slower rate than the rest of this.
Benny, just cut a bit off, will you? And just, send it over. It'd be quite nice.
Though, because I want it ginger bit in the middle, does he?
He does. Have a bit of ginger.
Oh, I do, yeah. I was going to say, it's like a mix and match. It's like a pick and mix, isn't it?
Yeah, that'd be absolutely great to have a bit of ginger there. Don't do that with it, Jamie. Fuck me, it's gone already. Look at it. Fucking half of it's gone. Fucking hell. Hey, Benny put a picture up on Twitter the other day with him without his beard. Fucking, I had to look twice. But when your beard was small, so I think you've been pictured an away game or something, or the first time you went with Nat or something.
Yeah, it was. I think it was in the MUTV picture.
I think so. But
MUTV used to picture me and Nat for the women's side, and it was really short then. Yeah.
If that's aimed at me, I can think of several reasons why I definitely don't think I'm LL Cool J.
Sorry. It reminds me of that Gangster Life image, when somebody does some of the bit shit out.
Oh yeah,
what it is a cigar hanging out his mouth.
Yeah, to be fair, I've got some cigars in my drawer behind me.
No, nothing wrong with that. On the odd occasion.
Exactly.
L7 Del United, I appreciate your footballing opinion, but we're past that now. But welcome to Uncut. Make sure you subscribe because this is what we do. We talk about football and then we just, chat shit. Gomez.
Okay,
right.
Look at me and Benny going, who's that?
You must know the Adams family. Fucking hell.
How is that?
Morticia and Gomez Adams.
Oh,
fucking. I've never been on this channel ever, and my tash hasn't been brought up.
I'm rightly so.
You all just need to admit that you're just really fucking attracted to me and just be done with it.
I've done that several times.
We're jealous.
Yeah.
We like how you do that with it.
Yeah.
I've done that several times. So I don't know what you're on about.
Yeah,
he's a good-looking cat. He's a good-looking cat. So is Benny. So is Karthik. You're all good-looking cats.
It's a shame you're not, Stu. It's a shame you're not.
My missus doesn't think I'm good-looking, so I won't worry about it.
Fucking hell.
She fucking puts up with me.
Buddy, I'm not here as a marriage counsellor, Stu.
Oh, fuck me. We're way past marriage.
It's a marriage counselling show now.
We're way past marriage. I love my missus to bits, but we're way past marriage counselling, man. Way past it. Way past. I just do as I'm fucking told, period.
Deirdre.
Yeah, that's all we do. Who the fuck is Danny Norpet?
What a fucking end to the show.
He better be a good looking. He better be a good looking. Yeah. Fucking, I'm not happy with that. I don't know who GR7 is.
He's a darts player.
Is he? Danny Norpet.
Danny Norpet. No.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Let me see if I can get a picture up of him. Hang on.
Well, I don't think we need to put a picture up because that's kind of not, that's not really right. Because we haven't done Karthik, you haven't done the split screen on James.
Yes, we have.
What do we do?
On James?
Jamie,
we did Joey Barton.
Joey Barton, huh?
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me, I forgot about that.
How have you forgotten?
It was only about 2 minutes ago.
Oh, fucking hell, I'd slept since.
Okay, I've got the picture. Hang on. Stu, do me a favour. Pretend you're holding a dart and look to your right.
I haven't got a dart.
Right, okay. Move your head slightly towards the camera. Tilt your arm towards the camera as well. Yeah, okay. Now look straight ahead. No, I mean look towards where you're throwing the dart.
Oh, okay.
Right, okay.
Oh, he's a good-looking fucker, he is. Look at him. Do you know something? When I was a nipper, I had a stud like that as well.
I can't believe I stood that for posers.
Oh, I did. No, Benny, I did, mate. I had two in the right, one in the left. Fucking hell.
That's Paul from you.
No, well, look at back in the day. It was all the rage. It was all. That's how you hooked your honeys, as Jamie was saying.
Hang on a minute. What?
That's how you hooked your honeys. That is.
What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know. I've read it. It's gangster chat.
It's gangster chat
for pulling women or something like that. Yeah, that's what I've read.
I can assure you, Stu, that it's not how you pull women.
I'm just saying back in the day. I'm not talking about now.
It's how you entice a fair maiden.
Gangster chat.
That's no, because my lad's into this fucking rap stuff. I don't know. He was telling me that he likes somebody called Big Tobes or something like that, and I thought he was talking about big toes. And no, I said big fucking toes.
That's what you buy when you go through duty free, innit? Those big toe roads.
Big toes, and then there's he likes somebody called 6'7".
Yeah.
We can count.
67. Why would you want to call yourself a fucking number? 60 fucking 7. What the fuck's all that about? Anyway, so that's yes. So back in the day, I was probably a bit of a poser, yeah, as you do.
You can never call anyone a poser ever again.
Well, I can in football terms.
No.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realise I got 67 on my shirt. Yeah,
I give it 69.
Credit, Fred. I'll give you that one, Freddie. Well done, pal. Well
Fair
done.
enough. Hammer's wondering what's going on, and Brown Knight has answered his question very well. What the fuck's going on? You're watching Alfie United Uncut. That's what's happening.
What number's on your shirt there? Oh,
it's a 67, Stu. Fucking hell.
Yeah, the reason is 667 is a couple of years ago. It's an old Wellington amateur shirt. We were.
It's when Ben was born. Old. It's when Ben Pearce was born.
Yeah, probably. I never realised. I got that on. They were 67 years old when the shirt was a couple of years ago. That's all. Hammer asked a good question, by the way. If we were all playing for Man United, what shirt number would we be?
16.
Mine's easy, 8.
16.
I'd take a number 5. I like a number 5.
Benny's a big number 5, isn't he? Oh. Jamie's a fucking 69. I know it already.
647. Nah, I've always been a fan of the 7 or the 9, realistically.
Yeah, but you need to be good to wear them.
Well, I mean, could you score goals?
Or you need to be sexy. And I don't think I'm both.
Well, you've got no fucking chance on either, then, have you?
Nah, yeah. It'd have to, as long as I earned it, the 7. Or just I'd be one of those cursed ones that it'd still be fine. You know what I mean? I'd wear it post Michael Owen.
Oh well, yeah. I know. What a shame. What a shame. List of number 7s, Michael Owen's on there. What's all that?
That's where the curse began.
Alexis Sanchez.
Scouser.
Yeah. It's bad news. Yeah, number 8 for me. Yeah,
right, and on that note, we're going to end the show. So, thank you very much for joining us on AFU Uncut. As always, we talked a bit about football, and then we chatted some absolute shit for the rest of the 20 minutes. We talked about Phil Jones for a bit. We talked about all sorts. And hey, everyone who's watching this, there's 15 people. If I don't see 15 tweets in my mentions tagging me and tagging Alfie United with this fucking hashtag, retweet the link of this show with that hashtag, tag me, tag Alfie United. You've got my at here. Alfie United's at, right? Tag me, tag the account with this hashtag, with this link, and let's get it going. Phil Jones the fucking 6th. That's what I want to hear at the end of this. I want 15 tweets. There's 17 now. 17 tweets by the end of today. That's what I want to see. Right. Everyone, thanks again for joining us. Make sure to join us this week for more content. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And of course, I can start saying it again now. Yeah, United have won their first game of pre-season. You know what that means? We're going to win the fucking league, ladies and gentlemen.